Yeah, that's the thing. Maybe they will know a little bit more about each other. Maybe it will be like more familiar of a matchup with some more research done and stuff like that. Because also like I feel like maybe there was some more help for Renekton required, but also on the other hand, maybe shutting down the bottom lane would have been a better option since that's where gameplay DNA hurt the most in their qualifying batch. So overall, there were a lot of options for Team No Names, but they did not seem to go for any of them. While for Wonderstag or Horizon Reapers, these guys might know how to play against each other, and then we might see these situations actually happening.
Yeah. I also feel like the Nunu might not have been the right pick for the jungle, as I did not really like the performance of Gameplay DNA's jungler. What's your opinion on that?
Not necessarily sure about it, but I mean, like, of course, the Nunu ultimates are not going to be as powerful as they have been back in the like season 2 or season 3, so they're not going to dominate a team fight. You can easily ignore him back there. But he's got to be obnoxious with the slows, nevertheless, and that helps the rest of the team. However, when Riven's just fallen behind, then she wasn't able to dish out so much damage. When Domus was, I don't want to say dominated, but pressured by the Katarina in the middle lane, it kind of takes away the power from Nunu because he's never been about like assassinating somebody from the enemy team or something like that. All you can do is just bludgeon him to death for if he's hitting him like for 2 minutes with his fists. But he's at enhancing his other teammates, and when these teammates have been slightly taken away, then it doesn't work out so much. But yeah, on the other hand, that's true. Maybe just going for a different jungler that's more self-reliable might have been better. But in my opinion, it wasn't so bad. Just a little bit of a miss with the timings because he's ganked in the top, in the middle, and the bottom, and all of these ganks failed. But then his fourth gank actually worked out in the bottom lane and got them a kill, where they got a little bit of a contact with the enemy team instead of just being completely crushed. So yeah, he's been trying. He's been active, and I much more prefer a jungler that is active and doesn't necessarily do so much than a jungler that's going to be completely inactive for the entire game because then it might be completely too late to show up.
I'd agree on that. You're definitely right about, yeah, the terms in which the jungler really interacts with the team from the early stages on until the late game. That's also why junglers like Lee Sin are so popular. And yeah, also Zac that can do something in the mid game, and it's not too late until these champions get going. But in terms of like individual performances, who would you say is the MVP of our last game?
Oh, hard to give it to just one person because definitely for the effort and for like ideas, I would say Divider's done very well. Um, But then on the other hand, also the massive comeback from the Riven, it takes quite a bit to be able to build up the 50 CS of a deficit that he had. It takes a little bit to find all these opportunities to grab the kills. So to turn it all around, and as I said, Renekton was dominating the most on the entire map. To come back from that deficit is huge. And then the bottom lane, where I've not really been expecting so much, they've been losing out in the early game. They were able, with just the help of the jungler showing up, not even doing anything, they were able to get the kills, even diving with the ignite and then getting really aggressive out there. While I've not expected them to be aggressive, I expected them to be the most scared lane maybe. And yeah, I would give it to Riven, I think. She's created the opportunity to go for that bottom lane, to create the final team fight, to just push the base as quickly as they did. While I feel like the bottom lane has done fine, it was nothing special. In the middle lane, I feel like for Domus, who's facing off against Katarina, I don't think he's fulfilled his role right there. He didn't shut her down completely. He still gave her a little bit of space, which caused problems later on for his team. And only at one certain point in the game he was able to finally like go up against her. but he's given a little bit of space, as I mentioned. And yeah, for the jungler, good ideas, but definitely also a lot of missed ones. So probably leaves as the top laner. But it's tough when you're giving the MVP to the guy that's made the least mistakes, kinda.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because if I had to pick a clear MVP for the last game, it would be Lucian, as Nofer did a great job, at least in my opinion, from start till finish. He was dishing out all the damage for gameplay DNA. He was doing a great job, and he had not that kind of letdown that everybody in the team seemed to have. So I'd be giving that title to Nofer, but that's what we're here for: two casters, two opinions.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Also, you've been probably following the game more closely at a point where I started lacking, so a lot of stuff happened right there. In a team fight, I remember in the bottom jungle of gameplay DNA, right there, yes, Nova was doing quite fine, but then Divider had done a great job at zoning the enemies out. So even if he wasn't as useful as that Nunu, even though he wasn't doing the damage that maybe he himself expected to, he was a nice wall that the enemies could not just cross. He was always creating a nice zone for his team where they could fight.
Yeah, definitely. But to wrap this game one up once more, great performance by both teams. In the end, gameplay DNA victorious, even though they did not have that early lead. To be honest, they were quite far behind. And Team No Names, a little surprise. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they will perform in their losers match. I don't expect him to drop out of the tournament immediately. I think we will still see some games of Team No Names here. And for now, Stag eSports coming up versus Horizon Reapers. Yeah, we've been talking about this a lot. In terms of metagame, we don't know what to expect. In terms of strength, maybe Wonderstag a bit more established, and the Horizon Reapers probably the underdog in that situation. But if I take a look at the chat, I see fans for both sides, so it might be another cracker coming up. Another close game in the stakes.
Might definitely be, but as we said, like, we can base our opinions on so very little information. And Wonderstag, as I said, there could be one, the top laner could not be on as high individual level as the other people, but then he might just decide to play the team champions, which is what he's done in the qualifying match. Right there, he decided to go for a Shen, and he's had quite a bit of success right there. Also, so that might be a good point. Maybe that's also going to be a little bit of a bait for the enemy team. That's, hey, they've got a plan on top laner, so let's just gank him all the time. Let's just focus on him to shut him down. But that might not be the right way to go. Maybe he's going to know how to deal with all that. And yeah, in that game, he had the most gold out of anybody in the team. So he's done the best job, apparently, like judging by the statistics. So that's quite fine. And also the damage, which is quite big for a top laner to do the most damage out there. 11, 4, 12 on the Shen, a Titanic Hydra, Randuin Zoman, Spirit's Visage. So nothing really too surprising, but maybe that Thorn Mail might be one of the reasons why. Against a Fiora Kha'Zix Xayah, he definitely knew how to build himself into such a not only melee, but also physical damage heavy lineup. Okay, we get a little bit of info from Team No Name. Okay, they're giving us the info that they will definitely provide more good games, and yeah, maybe that Katarina was not so much thought through, as they didn't talk about the pick and ban phase for too long. So that's amazing, amazing to hear from them. Maybe they will get a little bit more preparation for the next match, and that way.
Also, Marcis is showing is asking, why don't you show the pick and ban phase? We will show the pick and ban phase, but it's just 3 minutes away. approximately, until that's coming up. So you won't miss anything here, as we did with Game 1 Team No Names versus Gameplay DNA. We also had the picks and bans in there. We're gonna get that to you for Wonder Stag and Horizon Reapers. It's just that the teams have to get ready, they have to join the lobby, and you know how it is. To the teams that are not at the offline location, they're at home, everybody probably playing from his own place, and that's difficult to organize also for the team. So they're joining the lobby, they're getting ready, and once they did the picks and bans, we can give that out to you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Definitely the point in here. So picks and bans are showing, and also what I like right here, of course, the pro draft giving a little bit more opportunities, especially with teams like Wonder Stag facing off against Horizon Reapers. They should know each other a little bit better. They should probably have some bans. I don't want to say that make sense more, but that have more depth to them, rather than banning out some random champions that you think might be strong, instead of knowing that your enemy is quite proficient at this or that. And also it might be a little bit misleading when you're just researching a team before the game starts on whatever LoL King, on any other website there is. You might not get so much solid info. If he does abuse one champion in the solo queue, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to do exactly the same in scrims or in tournaments, because he might just focus on something that works for the team a little bit more. I mean, like back in the season 3, I remember even in tournaments that I participated in myself, there have been some people that opted not to go for these assassin kind of junglers that were quite handy back then, but they just decided to go for a Rammus, for instance, or for a Vi, something that provides just really solid initiation, just sticks the enemies to themselves and can tank a lot. And when you're facing off against teams that are not as professional, not as proficient, not as experienced, it might be good enough because they will not know how to ignore an attack, because it also is not such an easy task, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, just a couple of seconds or minutes away from the picks and bans jumping in here. We were talking about the Zac ban that you anticipated. It was also coming down. Do you expect something else like that? Would you say there's something like a must ban, except Zac?
Zac. No, I mean, just seeing more and more focus on that Twitch definitely tells you that he might be one of the mass bans, but maybe also not necessarily, since most of the time, whenever he is banned, he's banned on the second rotation. So that is only when the enemy is not picked an AD carry yet. You want them to get as uncomfortable as it's possible, but it's not something like we're banning Twitch right off the bat because he's a first pick champion. Don't think that's the case.
Yeah, probably. Maybe even we're gonna see some Sivir today or something more crazy in terms of AD carry, as with the 5 bans. All things can happen at all times.
Okay, so just really looking forwards to what both the teams have brought us right here, because as I mentioned, I'm really wondering if both these teams know each other as well as I think they might. Because if they are unfamiliar with each other, coming from one domestic scene on around the same level, on a level that's good enough to actually participate in some bigger tournaments, then I'll be surprised.
Yeah, but there we go, jumping into the picks and bans. Wonder Stag banning the Jace. Horizon Reapers, on the other hand, the Zac again.
Yeah, but Jace also seems like a ban that's showing up here and there more often lately. But I'm not too sure whether it's become such a powerful top lane champion that it's going to be picked right off the bat if it actually goes through the bans. There's been some moments where he's been banned for 4 games straight, and then in the 5th game, nobody banned him, and then nobody also picked him because they just simply didn't care. And maybe that's just something Wonderstag are a little bit too uncomfortable with.
Oh, and just take a look at that. So a Rakan ban is coming in here for Horizon Reapers. What do you think of that?
Both Zaya and Rakan have shown up a little bit in the qualifiers, so definitely there could be some depth to that, and with a KDA of 0 to 16, so Wonderstag might have a very good Rakan up their sleeve, but then that's also with the redemption, and interestingly enough, no, okay, their team was pretty tanky, so that could definitely work out very well right there. But also a nice vow, so kind of mixing two different item builds into this Rakan. Wondering what SMLY is gonna have for this game if the Rakan is taken away. But as a fun fact, also they picked Rakan, but the enemy team picked Zaya. So we might also see the Zaya coming up, because that's been the case for the qualifiers for Legend Series, but this far nobody's been paying attention to her, neither on LAN or here on the LoL battles.
Yeah, and once more we see Annalise pick for Wonderstag. On the other side, Rek'Sai.
Interesting to see right here, but that could definitely be a nice option. I mean, there's still a pool of champions that could be used in that situation, but I kind of came to like Rek'Sai a lot as a jungler, and I think that if a person can execute her well, you can put her on par with like champions like Elise, Kha'Zix, or whatever, very easily. And indeed, Wonderstag's top laner is once again gonna go for Shen. So, yeah, be careful, because he's dished out the most damage in their qualifying match out of the entire team. Now wondering if that's going to be the case right here too. And just looking at Horizon Reapers banning out that Rakan, they seem to really know a little bit about Wonderstag. It might also mean that they will focus on the top lane to just shut that Shen down.
Yeah, also interesting to see Thresh and Lucian coming up again here. That's the exact combination that we've seen in the last game. Working out quite well for gameplay DNA in the end. So, yeah, I'm keen to see how this is going here. The Twitch being banned, you were also talking about that. Coming in as a last ban though.
Yeah, so that Twitch always has to show up whenever there is no AD carry on the other side. After the first wave of picks, and Nor ban also from Wonderstag, alongside with that Vladimir, seems to be a little bit, of a target towards the top lane. They seem to realize that their top laner might be a little bit weaker than the others, but also they seem to realize his value whenever they create him a comfortable situation. And going up against the Jax is definitely going to be pretty funny and pretty interesting right there, because it could either work out. It could either work out for Horizon Reapers and just shut them down completely, or it might be a complete failure. After all, there has to be a reason why we've not been seeing Jax for a little bit of time now.
Yes, but now Jax coming here for the Horizon Reapers, and I'm a little bit scared that it might not work out, but if it works, Jax is the one champion that can snowball pretty heavily. Ashe, Orianna being picked for Wonderstag here, so Wonderstag still able to find a good AD carry. But we have only seen the Caitlyn and the Twitch ban, so as expected, Wonderstag getting together a solid combination. On the other side, Syndra going up versus Orianna in the mid lane. Also a battle of two meta mid laners and two very well known and good champions here.
Yeah,
but in terms of just let me quickly finish that. In terms of compositions, I don't really see a favorite right here. Or Nero, what would you say?
Oh, it's tough to decide. Definitely a lot relies on how both the lineups are going to be executed. Definitely a little bit of an unknown factor is going to be the Jax in the top lane, and also Rek'Sai in the jungle, because yeah, that's true. She can be put on par with the top junglers right now, but Maybe she's not going to be as effective. Maybe I'd rather like the Gragas in there or something like that. If they wanted to go for a tankier jungler. And yeah, Syndra could completely crush the game. But on the other hand, as you mentioned, they still found their AD carry. Ashe and Braum is by no means a bad lane out there. And I feel like she will be able to land some good arrows. If that happens, there's also Orianna to follow up with her ultimates, and most importantly, that Shen. If the Jax hits the right spot, everything should work out well for Horizon Reapers. But if the Shen gets going, if the top lane just doesn't make sense and falls apart at some point in the game, then Wonder Stag should have the upper hand. And yeah, really hard to state a clear favorite right here in terms of the composition, though. Wonder Stag not only looking like more standard picks, but also like some that mesh together very well. While Horizon Reapers, they have some possibly picks that work very well alone, but not really sure how they will mix with each other.
Yeah, exactly. And just like that, we are ready for game number 2 of our LoL battles here. And Wonder Stag eSports facing off the Horizon Reapers, both teams from Hungary. And Wonder Stag.
Little on their sides, and yeah, that stack up in the bottom lane already like changes at the beginning compared to the previous game. Although, does that actually mean that will bring them any success, because they just decide to fall back, thinking that maybe Lucian might have run straight into their trap?
Yeah, and that means as your connection seems to be stable, I'm gonna be out again for this game. So good luck, have fun everybody, enjoy the cast with Nero, and I'll be right back after that game.
Okay, so also assuming that the production crew is listening to me. Hopefully, I can shout or say something any kind of louder. Is that a possibility, or should I just keep quiet for the entire game? Okay, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit calmer than usually, and that's gonna be a good kind of test. I mean, kind of coming back to like 5 years ago when I started casting League of Legends, didn't necessarily have a clue of what was happening on the screen, and I was kind of lost in the entire situation. Couldn't really work with my voice at all, and I didn't even manage to shout at all, even if I wanted. So I'm gonna try to go back into that noob style. But yeah, for now, nothing really completely exciting happening at all. Wonder Stag definitely with a good idea down there in the bottom lane. It seems like it was quite close to catch out that Lucian, and even I think that maybe even if they just saw him, they would decide to go in, even if he just didn't walk into the brush right there. There's a possibility to go for the shadow dash right off the bat. They probably would not want to go for Cocoon for Elise, as that's obviously a bad start for the jungler. She's gonna have a hard time later on. But that could also work out if they needed it. And now an exhaust alongside with the heal burned right off the bat. Also the frogs from Blows are ticking, and first blood is going to be taken by Celiac himself. Celiac. Well, definitely a good first blood, but I did not expect him to be the one to actually find it. Must be expecting an Ashe out there. A flash burned by her, by the way. It's on the other side. Hughlif down a flash himself and a heal from their AD carry. So some complications showing up on Horizon. For Horizon, but it's not something that crushes them completely just yet. Lucian was able to stay in the lane himself. He was able to rack up a little bit of farm, still quite even in these terms. But then on the other side, first blood's definitely going to be a little bit of assist. The Rek'Sai jumping into the middle lane, trying to get the aggression going, and manages to grab the kill. Luckily enough for himself. Well, Orianna trying to poke around with the ball a little bit earlier. You can see Ryder just trying to get the control of that entire matchup, but it backfired completely as soon as Benji showed up in the middle lane. And yeah, I had my little doubts about that Rek'Sai earlier on, but it seems like we get some activities from her too. And like the fighter on that previous game, you had some ideas that didn't work out later on. Such an aggressive of a jungler. On the lanes, it figured out after a little bit of time. Right here, Benji, right off the bat, with his first idea hit right on the market. He's even way ahead in terms of farm, jungle actually. Doubling score would definitely bring him some advantage. And if he gets the advantage in experience, that's going to be quite handy. And yeah, talking about that, Nunu actually coming back to the top of the previous game, like he had a couple of failed ganks, so he became a little bit less visible in the lanes too. But Nunu is kind of the perfect jungler to go if you want to counter. Aside from Ivern, maybe it's and maybe I could still come up with another one, but that definitely is something that Nunu could do that you would expect.
So, ladies and gentlemen, right back with me. We are off to a good start for both teams. Nothing decided yet. Some damage here on the top lane. As Jax, we were talking about it, he has to make an impact on the game. Or at least Syndra. Because in terms of working together, this composition for the Hungarian team, the Horizon Reapers, might not be working out too well in the late stages of the game. So I feel like they are dependent on a snowballing champion. For now, the junglers on their way a bit. But there's not too much of clashing going on right now. Also the gold for both teams very much equal. A nice Cirque now coming in, but it's Braum and he's taking pretty much damage. Even though he should be so tanky. Rek'Sai coming in from the river, but not managing to make something happen here. And another hook just lands on the minion. So for now, we're back into farming. Marine and Falcorn battling it out, but now an engage here by Marine, taking even more damage than Falcone. But nobody on the way to the top lane. A gank would be really nice here for Falcorn, as Marine is giving up a lot of space, but now jumping back to safety. Oriana, whereas asking, where is my mid laner? Handsome Benji just going for his usual farming game in his own jungle. Just safely getting that Rek'Sai going. Yeah, so taking a look at the items that we see, all the champions are just starting to get going. Nothing special that we see here. Just a standard start for both sides. Now bot lane retreating. On Stag eSports in terms of farm, Chen is a little bit ahead. 5 creeps on the top lane. Whereas Rek'Sai has about 20 creeps more than his opponent's jungler. Also the bot lane very evened out. So a lot will come down to the first real engage or the first team fight that we see. I feel like both junglers could be a bit more aggressive in their playstyle, as there are a lot of opportunities opening up on the map. But now Elise is making her way to the top lane. That's a little bit too late, as Jax is pushed under the tower and he's retreating to the river. Rek'Sai also now finding his way into the river, but nothing really able to get going here. Just clearing out a ward. There's Orianna. Syndra still pretty far away. Also Shen making his way down, but still no engages. So both teams stay in that patient play style, playing it very passively here for the first couple of minutes. Maybe taking a look at how do the others want to approach this. Taking a look at the mechanics of this game in particular. And for now, no real engages. A lot of pings coming in, as Elise has been spotted on her way to the mid lane. Syndra still pretty far up to the side of Stag eSports. And now a little clash coming up on the bot lane. Version with the help of Smiley. If Q-Glue could set a good hook here, that could be devastating, but not quite hitting anything. A nice split here from Stag eSports, Smiley and his AD carry keeping it up. Resign, but there's handsome Benji in the bush, waiting, and a nice lantern coming up. Rek'Sai jumping in, and they focus on Smiley here, and he will probably fall, flashing out to safety. But is that enough? A nice stun here coming in, and Verzion maybe turning it around, but not quite able to save his support here. A nice engage from start till finish. Handsome Benji with a nice trap, setting it up in the bush, and then a great lantern by Q-Glue. And also a nice focus here by Hello Lanyok. And this was one of the few times that Hello Lanyok has said hello to the opponents. And now also a little clash coming down here on the top lane, as Marine is starting to deal a lot of damage, and Falcor has to retreat for now. But now Verzion is coming in with the help of his jungler. Thresh doing his best to keep Lucian, and he's giving up his life. And yes, so falling for his own AD carry, making the ultimate sacrifice. And now another clash in the mid lane. Flash coming in here from both sides, but Skinzor doing a great job. And also on the top lane we see another kill probably coming in. This handsome Benji is getting his team quick started. I can't believe that nobody died in the mid lane though, as Herrera and Bone Skinzor are still alive. And handsome Benji is starting to make a real good job with the ganks now coming around here. Around minute 10 he started to have a great impact with two awesome ganks for the Horizon Reapers. Zeliok with the counter gank on the bot lane at least also got Thresh down. And that's the reason that keeps both teams in the game, as if we take a look at that gold difference, there is none. So the early stages of the game very passively, and now we have some clashes here and there starting to get going, but for now the teams stay on their lanes. Laning phase hasn't ended. Hello Lanyok and Q-Glue maybe waiting for another hook. There's a lantern And it's used immediately, just jumping out. Dalyok getting his red buff. Making his way to the bot lane with the help of Orianna as well. So 4 people for Stag eSports probably making an impact on the bot lane, but Rek'Sai is there as well. So Handsome Benji might be able to help out here, but Thresh being caught early on, and Selyok not quite going for the engage here. I feel like he could have been a bit more confident as his team was right around the corner to back it up for him. But still a good engage here. Securing another kill for Stag eSports, making it even again in terms of kills. Mali and Verzion now clearing out that ward. Taking care of the opponent's vision. And so far, none of these two teams really grabbing the upper hand. Mali now very close here to Lanyok. And he's on half HP. The Korn now facing off with Marine, and we know that Jax is just such a strong 1v1 champion. But for now, backing off as the cooldowns probably kicked in. And also Elise was on the way to the top lane. Now Smiley and Verzion in a little bit of a trouble here as the tower is falling, and also there's Handsome Benji again with the great gank. But a nice Shen ult coming in. So Shen for now helping out, saving the day. Smiley gets caught by the hook on such low HP, but Falcorn doing a great job keeping it alive here, so no more kills for the Horizon Reapers. But still, for now, there's a slight gold lead establishing for the Reapers. And in terms of the top lane, Marine does not really manage to get going. Something that we were talking about before the game started was how important it is for the Horizon Reapers to, from the start on, get Jax or Syndra going immediately. That has not happened. And I still feel like the composition that Stag eSports put together here might be favorable in the late stages of the game. So there's maybe not that much time for the Horizon Reapers to really get it going. They should maybe take another 10 minutes to try to feed something to the Jax or the Syndra in order to make this individual performance possible. Now we see the lane switch. Alright, I'm just reading the chat, so instead of hello Lanyok, say hello girls, or Joey please. Alright, I'm gonna take care of that. I'll say Joey, thank you guys, but unfortunately, if you are always talking Hungarian, I can't read that. I'm sorry guys, but if you got something you want to tell me like this, just use English and I'm gonna take care of that. So Joey and Q-Gloof now on the top lane. Handsome Benji is in there for some trouble again. He's absolutely doing a crushing job here for the Horizon Reapers. Handsome Benji now coming in again, but the tower is still pretty healthy, so not much possible here. But now they're going for the tower. Resign and Smiley backing off. I felt like they could have put up a little bit more of a fight here. So another tower falling into the hands of the Horizon Reapers. And that's what is going pretty well for them. They have a kill on Rek'Sai, they also have a kill on that Syndra, and they have a kill on Lucian. So for now, the Reapers look pretty good to me. Stag on the other side, not down by much. Marine and Falcorn battling it out. The endless battle. Nothing really happening here. A Soul Blade, stunning Marine. And he will probably only go for the farm and a little bit of a poke here. No, he's actually jumping in quite heavily, but a nice dodge here by Falcorn. Seeking the safety of his tower and then flashing out. So at least a flash being burned here by the play of Marine HBS. Rayra and Verzion now in the mid lane. Saliok there as well, so we might see one of the first team fights coming up. And Thresh immediately focused, but a nice shield put onto him. But in the end, slain by Verzion. On the other side, we saw Syndra taking out Elise immediately, so also a nice focus here from the Reapers. I feel like Skinzer is doing a great job on that Syndra, and that's exactly what I was talking about, getting the kills to Skinzer, getting the kills on that Syndra. Now even pushing more for the tower, but he has to be careful. Handsome Benji has slain another kill for himself, but Orianna then finally gets rid of 2 Reapers here. Getting the kill on Rek'Sai and also on Skinzer. So turning it all around, a nice job here by Stag eSports, and Marine probably with the first chance of securing a kill for him, but Smiley then gets away. And now, well, just returning to the fight. That was not a good idea, as Jax is out there to kill and also going for a Rayra, but not managing to get anything more done as Saliok returns to the battle and secures himself a kill here. But finally a kill here for Jax, even though it was only the Braum, it was only the support. But I feel like that doesn't really matter. Gold is gold and a kill is a kill. The blue team also has slain the dragon now. So for Stag eSports, what just happened? The Horizon Reapers, they put on the gas pedal. They tried to make something happen, and then somehow under this middle turret, Stag, they turned it all around. With a nice play by Orianna here, taking out Skinzer, taking out Handsome Benji. And these guys are crucial for the play of the Horizon Reapers, and a nice hook here. But Smiley jumping in to save Verzion. So great job once again by that Braum. And a nice stun here coming in by Handsome Benji, but nothing to really follow it up. Smiley is taking such good care of his AD carry. That's something that's definitely going in favor here for Stag eSports. Marine still fighting the battle versus Shen on the bot lane. One of the most boring battles that you might probably see, as Shen is just so tanky and he can endure so much damage. But now Handsome Benji is on his way. Going in for some trouble. I really like the way that Handsome Benji is playing this. He seems to be all around and all over the map. But now we have seen a Braum kill. We missed that by our spectators. So Elise and Braum able to grab Joey in the middle of the river. So maybe not that good of a decision that Handsome Benji was battling it out on the bot lane. Maybe he should have stayed in the middle of the map, maybe waited for a better entry. In terms of gold, the Reapers are still ahead. In terms of kills, Stag eSports are holding the upper hand. Now, Q-Gloof, Skinzer and Handsome Benji, they're out for some trouble. Handsome Benji and Q-Gloof, they won't deal enough damage here to Smiley, but a nice lantern saving Handsome Benji for now. And another entry possible, another hook coming in here. Skinzer there for the damage, taking the kill on Ash immediately, but Handsome Benji now falling to Siliok, going up against 3 all alone on himself. But Marine is still there, and what a nice stun! Siliok gets away, And the fight still continues as Falcor now decided to join the fight. Going up against 4, but they're all pretty low from the Horizon Reapers. But now Marine going in for the kill and finally slaying Shen. But for now, both teams should retreat. Taking another look at Syndra and Jax, both champions. Whoa, no, Syndra has 3 kills for herself, whereas Jax is starting to get it going with 2. And the Triforce, just such an important item here for the build of Jax.
Identify targets.
Just a 2k gold difference here between the two teams. That's not much. We have seen more already in the game between gameplay DNA and Team No Names. Handsome Banji, now he's starting to show some slight mistakes here as he was off positioned and also a little bit off guard as he was fighting in the last team fight. He was all alone going up against 3. That's definitely not what you want. Q-Glove now seeking another great hook here. And the Baron finally up. So both teams have their wards on the Baron, but now some vision is denied for Stag eSports. But I don't think that we will see that Baron falling in the next 3 minutes as the map is so tense right now. But both teams are starting to gather around the Baron. Ginzor, Joey and Q-Glove trying to hold that outer turret here in the mid lane. And also Handsome Banji coming in. Stag shifting towards their own jungle, and then a nice engage here by Marine, grabbing a first kill here on Ashe. Also still going hard in at it and dealing a lot of damage. That's exactly what we were talking about, but now it's Falcor coming in, securing a kill, at least here on the support for now. Going up against 4. How much damage can he deal? Not enough, as it's Joey who grabs another kill. And just like that, a great team fight here for the Reapers. 4k gold lead now, managed to get 3 kills, and also a tower will fall for sure. And now they're also on their way to the Baron. This is such a great advantage. They got the tower, they got 3 kills, and they will also get the Baron. Uncontested. Or let's see, as Braum is coming in there with the help of Celiac. Celiac has to be careful. Joey now getting away, joining in on Marine, and continuing to push with the Baron buff here on the top lane. Celiac now waiting for a trap, and there is Joey all alone. Smiley and Celiac, are they going to be able to secure the kill? But there's a teleport coming in. Joey still surviving, and what a nice stun coming in here by the Jax. What a great save. Managing to get a kill, and is he going to be able to get away? Probably not, but it was worth it. He just helped his AD carry so much in that situation. Getting a kill, dying himself, but at least Joey is alive. But still, in the end, quite an even trade, as you've wasted your teleport for that. You've given the other team 3 assists. So a great action here by Jax, but in the end not helping out his team too much. Another thing going for the Reapers here is the Dragon falling. Now with the help of the Baron buff, going for a push on the bot lane. I feel like Jax, as soon as he comes back, he will probably go for a split push on the top lane. So that might be the time for Stag eSports to go for the engage on the bot lane, just going up against 4. Have an eye on that mini-map where Jax is going, because the teleport is out. And so is Skinzor, as it looks. Verzion grabbing a nice kill here, and that means the Reapers have to get back immediately. 3 versus 5. They won't win that. But they're still going at it. Handsome Benji there with Q-Gloof, and Q-Gloof is stunned. I feel like that was a bad decision to stay here. I told you, go back. You don't have a chance. Just go 3 versus 5. And what a nice shield here. The double kill goes to Oriana for Stag eSports. And that enables a comeback. I don't know why they had the decision now to stay on that bot lane. Everything was going in the favor now for the Horizon Reapers. They had the Baron buff, they got the Dragon, they had the gold lead, they were also ahead in the kills. So everything was going for them. But then such a decision just to stay on the bot lane with 3 guys, whereas you're going up against 5 people on the other side. That was not a smart decision. Now Stag eSports, they will go for the tower in the middle lane, and Jax coming in, Marine not quite able to get Herrera, and Herrera might go for another kill, but it's Falcorn securing himself a double kill here on Lucian and Syndra. And it's all turning around now. It is all turning around as Stag eSports continue their march through the mid lane. Handsome Benji is there, trying to get something done, but it's only Handsome Benji, Q-Gloof and Marine, and they won't hold this inner turret here. Now Stag eSports, they have to be careful not to overcommit here. But still 17 seconds until Joey comes back. And Herrera still getting away with a nice shield, but Handsome Banji jumping in, not quite able to secure the kill. And Siliok goes for another one, but there's Marine trying to make it happen. And Herrera is still kiting and still running, but finally the shutdown as Marine just runs after her. Yeah, Marine now trying to find a way to his own safety, as he's pretty much divided from his team, and there are 3 people out to get him. There's Falcorn. Marine can't really contest him here, but he knows that himself. And now Q-Gloof is with him, so the gang is complete again. Q-Gloof porting back for now, and Marine is doing a great job for his team on that Jax. That's exactly what the Reapers needed. Marine is the one to always jump in, get the kills, secure the clutch moments here for the Reapers. If Marine would not have had such a great performance, I feel like the Reapers might be in even bigger trouble here. But the game is pretty evened out for now again. Handsome Benji also doing a great job in the early game. But let's see who is gonna be the team to get another lead going for themselves. Blue buff contested by both teams, and Shen is all alone on the top lane. Excuse me. So Marine and Benji could go for an engage here, but instead they decide to go to the mid lane. But now Marine has to be careful, because there's an opponent, Elise, and the Shen on the way for him. Now both teams gathering in the mid lane. The fight is coming up for that inner turret here. But with the tankiness of Falcorn and Smiley, there's no engage from the Horizon Reapers. Just a 1k gold lead now. As we've seen over most of the times, this game has been such an even game between these two teams. farming still continues. Marine now going for the split push on the bot lane, and I feel like that's the right thing to do in this situation, as we have some kind of a stalemate. There's still no. Dragon and Baron are coming at the same time, so two objectives are arising immediately. Jack's on the bot lane, maybe waiting for his entrance to really go for that split push, but Falcorn is not giving it up here. Still contesting. Marine could now go and deal some damage, but he's being taunted by Falcorn, so nice taunt coming down. Baron now up, and also the dragon spawned. And Baron is even contested here by Joey and Benji. Big question is that a fake? It is. It was just a bait for Wonder Stag, but that's not happening. Baron is still too strong for the Reapers, at least just for two of them. As Syndra, Thresh, and Jax had something better to do than just smashing their abilities on that Baron. Now a dragon is secured by a solo Jax here. Marine getting something going, but as the Infernal Drake is the most important dragon for the teams, this is not that important, as it was just another Drake. So now Joey pretty low in the mid lane. Also Marine in some kind of trouble going up against Falcorn here. Falcorn might be able to deal enough damage, but there's no backup for both of them. A nice taunt coming in. Marine scrambling, but not making it out. Oh, Falcorn now granting his team a little bit of a teamfight moment, or at least preventing the Reapers from split pushing here too heavily. Whereas Handsome Benji, he pushed the wave through to the upper tower. Has to be careful, because all of Wonder Stag are at the Baron pit, and they're engaging. So fight soon to happen, as the Reapers can't just allow that. A bad hook here on the Baron. Not hitting anything, but a nice lantern coming down, and Handsome Benji is jumping in and securing the Nasher for his team with a great steal. So another Baron buff falls into the hands of the Reapers, as Wonder Stag not able to secure the Baron. How could that happen? Q-Gloof and Benji now on the hunt, and look at that, Smiley, Herrera, they're all pretty low, and who's there? It's Marine jumping in, not quite getting the kill on Herrera. Falcorn too tanky to engage for all of them. In the meanwhile, Lucian securing a turret for his team. Smiley still in the fight, stunned now, falling to Benji, and what a great jump here by Marine on Celiac. But Falcorn, as always, there to disturb him. And this could be it, as the Reapers are going in, and they're going in hard with the Baron buff. Retreating for now. Q-Gloof, nice lantern. Yeah, Falcorn is just a little bit too tanky. Herrera now on full HP again, and also Verzion there to deal some damage. Marine now getting his health back through some farm. Has some nice life steal going on. Look at that, Joey just melting that red buff. Critting a lot of the times and dealings. Great damage. Taking a look at the levels. Yeah, it's still pretty even, but Celiac is a little bit too far behind. Also, in terms of creeps, Celiac not doing the best job for his team here. But he's played solidly. Don't get me wrong on that. He did a solid job. But just falling off in the late game a little bit. And the Reapers are just waiting for an entrance to really go for that final push. There's a trap being set up here by... Oh, yeah, they're going in for the fight, but it's only Q-Gloof and Handsome Benji, but Handsome Benji falling to Errara. The fight's still continuing, and look who's there in the middle of it all. As always, it's Marine securing a kill on Verzion. Also Syndra with a kill on Braum. But now Q-Gloof also falling, and this is the advantage here for Stag eSports. Skinzor still managing to get the shutdown and managing to get a kill. Sorry, the shutdown was on the Lucian. And now we have a 3 versus 1 situation in favor of the Reapers. The Skinzor kiting a little bit too hard here, and they're going straight for the Nexus turrets. This could be it. Errara is all alone. And not even Errara is here to save the day, so this is gonna be it. What a great game between Stag eSports and the Horizon Reapers. That is League of Legends at its best. That was just a crazy game going on here. Stag eSports and the Reapers, they were so close together all the game. But in the end, it was a little bit too much of these 2 Baron buffs and the gold advantage going, and also the positioning in the team fights. I feel like in the end, it was just a slight difference in terms of smartness that the Horizon Reapers used in order to advance to the winners match here, and they will face off Gameplay DNA. Nero is back. What are your thoughts? Great game, right?
Oh man, yeah, crazy I'd definitely call that, but not too sure if in the positive kind of way. Another word that I wanted to use for this one is bloody. Some of the team, like, definitely Reapers, after all, they've been able to grab the victory, but I feel like they tried to be a little bit too bloody, and I did not like that at all. I definitely felt like Stag were playing a little bit of a cleaner game and thought that they should be the ones to win. Unfortunately, they were on the back foot for the most part. And then they started bouncing back because Horizon Reapers, they were overextending over and over and over again. And sometimes they had to pay a big price for that. But at the same time, whenever a Syndra got a kill here and there, whenever Jax got a kill, you knew that they would be starting to smash the enemies even more easily. So yeah, that piled upon Stag when the Baron was stolen. And there was no coming back from that. But also, even during the last team fight, you could see how evened out it was. The AD carry of Stag was just doing so perfectly with the positioning, but then Marines coming in from behind. That was what killed him definitely, but also Maurice had to burn his Guardian's Angel for that, and then he just immediately fell back.
Talking about Marine, he did a great job, right? Marine, he was always in there for the fight, always securing these crucial kills, even though most of the times he died himself, but it was worth it.
Yeah, there was not only once that he saved his AD carry from a completely hopeless situation and stuff like that. These saves were amazing, but then also I feel like Stag, it's not what lost the game. In the last team fight, they definitely could have taken all of them down. The Shen was in the front line. Everybody was just dishing out the damage. Only person that they lost was their AD carry, and they were still doing perfectly fine. But there was a Syndra closer to them, and there was a Lucian right next to her and a little bit behind. And they decided to go for a Lucian who actually had a Quicksilver Sash. And he immediately cleansed the taunt and was able to beat down the Shen, while I think that Syndra could have definitely been more squishier of a target, one that's not going to heal up with lifesteal so easily, and so on and so on. So I feel like they made a little bit of a mistake right there, and they could have extended the game. And you could see already earlier that even when they were losing, just extending the game was enough to turn it around at some point. So I think that game wasn't even lost at that point for Stag. Some mistakes that they made lost it, but they could have even fought on a little bit longer.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm quite impressed of how close these 2 games have been so far. So the teams are really matching each other as it looks. And the last game, Stag. Horizon Reapers. Okay, I want to ask you something, because you said that you had the feeling that Stag eSports, they were playing a bit more cleanly, that they had the better game plan probably. But I feel like the Horizon Reapers, they were, to me, I felt like they were a bit more stable and that they had it all going, because they always secured the kills. They were the ones from the start on with Rek'Sai doing some nice ganks, so securing a slight early game advantage, then going for a Drake, a Baron, a team fight that they won, and the turret themselves. So that was the moment when I thought, okay, the game is gonna end in approximately 5 minutes.
Yeah, all you're saying is exactly right here. Horizon Reapers then might be just the advantage that they had in terms of the individual skill level, because as I mentioned, on their Stag, they might have had a good idea, they might have had a good team comp, and they might have executed that team comp well. But basically for Horizon Reapers, it was good enough if just a Jax jumped in, and when he got a kill out of a hopeless situation, it was already good for him, because he was individually skilled enough to be able to do that. And they had the advantage in the turrets, because they were like putting the pressure in the lanes, they were outplaying the enemies on an individual level. But whenever Horizon Reapers actually choked on that playstyle of theirs, where they got a little bit too deep, they dove the middle outer turrets, that was one big problem where they lost like 2 or 3 people. When things like that were happening, it was the moment when Wonderstag started doing something. And Horizon Reapers, at some point, they saw that this team play, that this game plan of theirs is starting to work out so well, and they just decided to just push it even further. And that was when they crossed the line. That was when I started thinking, all right, these guys are trying to make it a little bit too YOLO, and it should be Wonderstag, who are actually thinking about the game to be the victors out here. But unfortunately, I mean, also comes down to the personal skill to be able to steal Barons like that. It's also a big feat right there on their jungler, and without it, I feel like it would have been so much harder for Horizon Reapers.
Yeah, probably. Also, that Baron steal, absolutely crazy. That Baron was engaged by Wonderstag, and I wish we had a replay of that, but I reckon we don't have one. But just a nice Lantern coming in, Rek'Sai jumping in and securing. But that was a mistake by Wonderstag, right? They should have secured that with their smite.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the fact, but things like that just simply happen. Rek'Sai is one of the better champions at doing that. I mean, you've also got a Lee Sin lately. Eclipse started surfacing with the best Lee Sin steal of the entire 6 to 7 or 8 years of League of Legends, and yeah, it indeed looked amazing. So you've got some champions that have a better skill set for doing stuff like that. But in my opinion, what's the big thing right there, that right after a steal, nothing happened to the Rek'Sai. She just ran away with a tunnel.
Yes, exactly. She didn't even die.
Yeah, but well, dying is like a secondary matter. First of all, somebody has to like pay attention to her. Has to be a stun prepared for her, or something like that. And yeah, I mean, a lot of mess has been in the game for the entire part of it. Like, where shockwaves were just inches away from hitting the Lucian when he was on low HP. That could have been a kill that snowballed the Orianna good enough to face off against the Syndra and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Ashe with her positioning was just great, but wasn't always enough. And I feel like, yeah, it also was only about like having 50 more HP so that she would survive and wouldn't give these kills to either the Jax or
exactly. So such a tight game, and a lot of mess going on. And I promise you guys that we still will have more of this great League of Legends coming for you, more mess going on, more bloody games and all of that just after a quick break. So then we will have Gameplay DNA and the Horizon Reapers. So 5 minutes break, and then see you again.